The women's WarGames lineups have been revealed. A WWE star is seemingly set for a big singles push, and we've got a rumor killer on a top WWE Tag Team leaving the company. It's time for the news. So while the OG Bloodline is still very much looking for their fifth man, the women's WarGames lineups have been finalized. That happened last night on Raw. Opening the show, you got Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez in the ring. They bring out Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Candice LeRae. Jax would go on to call out three women who she really doesn't like, and those are Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi. They end up bringing out Io Sky. That's 4 on 5. That doesn't work. Goodness me. Fortunately, they had a little backup. From the returning Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley's music hitting. She comes out and just goes, War Games! Headbutt, big brawl, it's mental, and the match has now been confirmed. It is Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Io Sky, and Naomi taking on the Judgment Days. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. What do you make of this, Andrew?
Stacked. It's bloody stacked. I'm very excited for it. Like, I know maybe some people are quite sort of not surprised and not surprised that Rhea's come back this soon after like
2 weeks,
something like that, 2-3 weeks, and after such an attack, they did such a good job of like playing it off on NXT and everything with the whole angle and stuff as well. But I'm very excited for this. Most excited because Io Sky's in it, and we just need the bin. We need the bin again. We need the bin again.
An annual tradition.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it for sure. I think in terms of hype, this is massively overshadowed by the men's WarGames match, Bloodline versus Bloodline, because it's something that we've fantasy booked for so long. Mm-hmm. But there are lots of like feuds within this one. There are lots of little stories that can play out. I think it's largely going to be a bit of a spot fest, but I think it will be a good laugh for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what? I'm actually excited to see Jade in that scenario as well, in a big match like that. Yeah. See what she does. I think it'll be really fun.
Yeah, for sure. That was a pre-tape, wasn't it, last night? So
yes.
Does that mean Rhea only actually came back after 1 week? She was off for 2.
Maybe, actually. I guess so, yeah.
I think realistically, they'll probably, the famous last words and everything, but they'll probably not have her do anything too physical.
You would think
she was
so.
doing the headbutt yesterday.
Yeah, but she had the protective mask on.
Yeah, I guess so. But maybe she won't be wrestling until WarGames. That's it. That's only a week and a bit away now, isn't it?
Well, that's it. I mean, what usually happens on the lead up to Survivor Series? It's just usually these teams that are in the matches just brawling with one another to like either open up segments on the shows or close out segments. So I imagine something like that.
We were talking about the fifth man there for the OG Bloodline team.
Yeah.
Who do you reckon it's going to be? A lot of people surprised to see Bronson Reed in the mix, rather.
So if it's Bronson, I think reluctantly Seth will do it, but I know a lot of people are like, well, he would never go with Roman Reigns. I don't think it's to do with that. I think it's literally just, if he did join them, it would just be to get to Bronson.
To get to Bronson Reed. Yeah, I think I agree, because it's getting a bit late in the day now, isn't it? And I don't know who else you throw in there if it's not Seth Rollins. But he's not keen on Roman. I mean, it's really interesting.
I've seen people as well, fantasy booking hat on, saying that if Paul Heyman makes his return at Survivor Series, not Paul Heyman in the match, but Paul Heyman is called in a favour, and it's his old client CM Punk.
Okay, that's a possibility, isn't it?
Maybe.
It's probably going to be Seth, isn't it?
I think it's going to be Seth.
I sort of wish it was 4 on 4.
Yeah, me too. I was surprised because it does feel like it's shoehorned in a little bit, doesn't it?
A bit, considering it's been so hyped and we've all been really looking forward to this. I just didn't see Bronson Reed in that match.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? No disrespect to Bronson or anything, but this is a bloodline affair, isn't it?
That's it, yeah.
Anyway, moving on, a WWE star seemingly set for a big singles push. You may remember on last week's Raw, Gunther stopping Ludwig Kaiser from berating Damian Priest for disrespecting the World Heavyweight Champion. Then on last night's Raw, Gunther explained why he put a stop to Kaiser speaking on his behalf, saying, "You do not speak for me. You need to realize who you are and make a name for yourself." And he certainly did that.
He did. He came out and interfered in the Intercontinental Championship match between Bron Breakker and Sheamus. It caused a non-finish. I liked it a lot because he just looks the part. He plays the part. He had intensity as well. Like, I'm excited for him to go off and do his own thing.
It's about ruddy bloody time
I
as far
agree.
as I'm concerned.
Yes.
Because Ludwig Kaiser for quite a while now has been, we talk about it a lot, but the guy who takes the fall in, like, often speaking anyway, he has, including house shows admittedly, but he has like a pretty hefty loss record to his name in comparison to the wins. And he's a specimen, you're right. He does look the part, he wrestles the part, he is the part. And
Great
this
on
is
the mic as well.
Yep, really great on the mic. I think he's amazing. As far as like he's now seemingly inserted into the IC title scene. That's a great spot for him. Like
Absolutely.
he's perfect. And I think there's an interesting dynamic. Were he to pick up the IC title, him holding the IC title, the title that Gunther held for the longest time ever, that's a fun dynamic to play off with those two.
Absolutely, especially if he's saying to the ring general like, oh, I'm gonna try hold this for a bit longer than maybe you held it for, and there's definitely friction that can be played off there to what I imagine we will eventually get in a feud between the two as well.
Yeah, I think so as well. At the same time, I don't know if the time's right for Braun to drop it.
That's it too.
It's tough, isn't it?
It really, really is. I can see, because of sort of like how Ludwig and Sheamus has played out over the year, and they've been at one another and interfering in each other's matches and this, that, and the other. I could see Ludwig being the one to pick it up, and then eventually Sheamus being the one, hopefully, to take it and get that notch on his belt.
We've been saying it for a long time.
A long time,
We
yeah.
want to see it, though.
We do, and I think he deserves it as well.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah,
But
for
there's
sure.
another man who's not held that title. He's coming back doing a retirement tour. John Cena.
Oh,
Where does
John
he
Cena. Oh, that's true.
You know what? It's a really nice problem to have, isn't it? Isn't
is.
it great that you got so many people that you'd love to see with the IC title? Only one can hold it. Ooh. Rumour killer now on a top WWE Tag Team, potentially leaving the company. It doesn't look like it's happening. There's been a lot of speculation online about the Street Profits following some promos that went out by both Dawkins and Ford. Some WWE talent reportedly didn't know whether they were in storyline or not. Recently, Ford described their tag title shot against the Motor City Machine Guns as tag team championships or bust. Bust, thanks, Ciampa. As previously reported by Sean Ross Sapp, Ford and Dawkins signed their WWE contracts way back in 2019, but he couldn't get a concrete answer on whether these deals were up soon or if they would re-sign with the company. They don't tend to sign people for longer than 5 years anymore, so you would expect that those are expiring very, very soon.
You'd think so.
A new update has emerged, though, on the situation from Mike Johnson, a PW insider, saying there's no belief internally that Ford or Dawkins are exiting the company, but we don't know the contract status at the moment.
I'm intrigued to see what they do with this, because it feels like after what happened on SmackDown with the DQ finish, the little bit of a get off me smack to the Motor City Machine Guns after the match, I think there's something to be had, and I think we've said this for a long time as well. Like, there's something to be had in a proper heel run for that team.
They had a little bit of it, didn't they, with Bobby?
But then at the same time they didn't, because people were cheering for them anyway, because it was such a great team. So actually sort of leaning into that more and doing something with that would, I think, be really fun. But again, at the same time, I can see their frustration, because it's been like 3 years since they've had a tag team championship. But however, they are always consistent when they're in the ring, no matter what. And it's also been quite stop-start for them. Not only as a team, but I guess for Montez Ford as a single star as well. Like, there was definitely push for him at one point to be the next, mid-card champion.
For the longest time.
And nothing really materialized in terms of championships for him in that regard either. So I can imagine them being like pretty miffed off at maybe not picking things up here and there. But regardless of that, like I said, they've been nothing but consistent through this whole entire run.
That's it. They, I agree. I can imagine why you'd be a bit miffed, because other people have seemingly sort of come in and taken their place a little bit. They're still featured on TV and everything, but they're not presented as the big deal that they were like 3 or 4 years ago. Let's put a bet on, Andrew.
Oh, go on.
5 Great British pounds sterling.
Yeah.
Will the Street Profits split in 2025? I don't think it's happening.
I don't think so.
No, you reckon they keep them together?
I think you keep them together. I think they eventually get the tag team titles
back as a heel unit.
heel unit, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say they will then, because
Okay.
otherwise the bet isn't very fun, is it?
Oh, there we go.
Going
All right,
for it. All right, we're going to finish off with the latest WWE ID signing. This was announced at Memphis Wrestling, and on the show, the Heritage Champion, Aaron Roberts, who you can see right there, has been announced as the latest WWE ID prospect. He is known as The Problem, or, according to some websites that I saw, Problem Child. Great film. Great film.
I haven't seen it.
He stands at 6'4", weighs 420 pounds.
That's a big child.
He's a big lad. As you can say, I don't know anything about him.
Nope.
But he is a big boy and a problem child. But he's not actually a child. He is a fully grown adult man. Come back for more news later. See ya.